Okay, so the first one here up on the left, we're supposed to solve that one using factoring. I believe that's the directions. Solve graphically. Oh, wow. Okay. I misread the directions. So solve the first one graphically. So really what they're saying is that if you had this equation, which is a parabola, if you had y equals that, and what does it mean if you replace y with 0? When you set y to 0, you're finding the x-intercepts. You're finding out where the function crosses the x-axis when y equals 0. So you have to do a little research on that, okay? So you set 0. So we want to graph this on the graphing calculator. So hopefully, if you don't know how to do it, I'll show you tomorrow. So we got here x squared minus 8x minus 33, and I'm going to graph it. It looks like it comes down here about 3, goes way down, somewhere down here, somewhere comes up. And over here, you got to make the window bigger than 10. I think it crosses around 11. And the reason why I know that is I was going to factor it. And if you factored it, it would be x minus 11, x plus 3. That's how it factors. So x equals 11 and minus 3 are the solutions if you did it by factoring. But by graphing, you can see where it's crossing here at these two places. So once you use your graphing calculator or the computer or whatever, where it's crossing the x-axis right here, okay? That's where, those are the solutions where the function equals 0, where y equals 0. It's the x-intercepts. So that's how that works. The second one over here is a quadratic formula. X equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. This is a, this is b. Hold on here, what did I have? Equals 3. Okay, so first important thing on quadratics, they have to set to 0. So you got to subtract the 3 over and set it to 0. These two problems up here, by the way, that was for something later, but I'm going to hold off for now. So A is 10, B is 10, C is minus 3. This formula solves for when the function equals 0. Essentially is what we did on the other one over here on the left. Where does it cross the x-axis? Same thing, except the formula does it. It's called the quadratic formula. So if we did the same thing over here, where A would be 1, B would be minus 8, C would be minus 33. If we did that one, we plug it in the formula, it would work. You'd get 11 and minus 3 for the answer. That's the plus and minus. The plus gives you one answer, the minus gives you another answer. So x equals a negative b, negative 10, plus and minus 10 squared minus 4 times a is 10, c is minus 3, all over 2 times a is 10. So x equals negative 10 plus and minus 100. See the double negative, the minus, and then a minus? That's going to be plus 40 times 3 is 120. Over 2 times 10 is 20. So negative 10 plus and minus 220 over 20. Now likely he's going to want you to simplify that a bit more. You could simplify square roots by finding perfect squares. I think 4 goes in there, so I'll show you how this works. 4 goes in there 55 times. I know 55 doesn't have any perfect squares, but I know 4 goes in there. Okay, so let's watch this now. 4 times 55 is 220. 4 is a perfect square, so you have minus 10 plus and minus. The square root of 4 is 2. You're left with the square root of 55, over 20. Now, there's a 2 in each of our terms. You can take a 2 out. So minus 5 plus and minus the square root of 55 and divide by 2 on the bottom, you get 10. This is probably what they're looking for. So you can ask me again if you have more questions about that.